This week, we're on the topic again of supply chain careers, and I've mentioned in the past the benefits of joining an industry association. So we've got an association expert with us this week, Stephen Lakey, coming right up. So Stephen, welcome.
Thank you, Rob.
We're on the topic of supply chain associations, and I think you know a little bit about that. You've been around
My favourite topic.
Yeah, you've been around the industry for a long time, but you're very heavily involved in industry associations. Tell us the one that you're involved in and in what capacity.
Sure. Well, I'm a director on the board of the SCLAA. So for those who don't know, that's the Supply Chain and Logistics Association of Australia. Actually, I've been a member of SCLAA for about 17, 18 years, so quite a while, and in a leadership role since 2019.
That's excellent. I have a confession here.
Yeah.
I was a member. I mean, I wasn't for many years, and more recently, actually, I think the New South Wales president caught me at a networking event and said, "You've got to rejoin, Rob." So I've rejoined, and it was great because I met so many new people in the industry. But let's not digress too much. Tell us about this particular industry association, because I think it'll help people, regardless of where they are in the world, to look out for an association like yours. So tell us a little bit about what yours is and how it helps people.
Yes, certainly, Rob. Look, anyone in supply chain or the logistics industries, I would highly recommend you join an association. The SCLAA is Australia's largest association for supply chain professionals. And I think the sort of flavour, like there's a few of them around and they all have different flavours. And SCLAA is very grassroots. And if you're looking to connect with other supply chain professionals and to learn about supply chain and logistics, this is the one for you, because that's the only two things that we do. We connect people and we educate people, our members in supply chain and logistics. And mostly we do that through events. So we hold events. They might be breakfast events. They might be evening thought leadership events, webinars, site tours. So we'll go to a big site. Might be there was a recent one at Officeworks. We'll have a look at their AMRs. We'll walk around, get a guided tour, and it's great, particularly for students and people new to the industry, to have a look at what a cutting edge, high-end facility looks like, and have the opportunity to ask some questions for people in the know.
That's great. Yeah, I've been on some of those site visits. They're excellent. You know, as you were just saying that, a thought came to my mind. If I'm kind of new in the industry, I'm sort of a younger person in the industry, I could be a bit intimidated by turning up at these networking events. And, you know, is it all sort of crusty old veterans in their 50s? Or, you know, what would you say to a much younger person, sort of how to get into these events and maybe allay some of that nervousness?
Yeah, I actually get that question a lot, and my answer is always the same. You just need to have courage, right? You need to be able to step in the door and have the courage to go up to someone and talk to them. And you would be surprised that, you know, a student could walk up to the CEO of a large logistics firm and talk about the industry. It happens all the time. It is really a real leveler at these events. And the ones that I see get the most out of it, the ones that just go up the ladder, are the ones that just have the courage. That's really all you've got to do. Just have the nerve to go up and have a conversation with someone. And the opportunities that open up, I've seen new grads get their first role. I've seen people get promotions. I've seen people be educated in a way that they've started their own business, founded their own business, all at these events. It's an amazing opportunity. And it's really something else that you're not going to get by doing an online course or something you're not getting from university. This is the real stuff.
You know, it was interesting, the last event I went to, and I've been to a few of the sort of networking drinks evenings, which are not too far from where I live.
Yep.
And firstly, there was a lot of people there, which was really great. Secondly, I think I was the oldest one there, which is no great surprise. But the reason I bring that up is that it wasn't a lot of industry veterans at all.
Hmm.
There was a lot of people in their 20s and 30s, and there were students there. I actually took my niece along, who's a student. So it's a real cross section. And yeah, I met lots of great new people and learnt a lot too, talking to them, of all ages and backgrounds. So it was a
Yeah.
really great event. So
Yeah. Look, to
I
give you
think
an
that's what
idea,
that prompted me to join again, because I thought, I need to get out more and meet some of these people.
to give you an idea, at least 50% of the people attending these events would be under 35. So it
Yeah.
is actually quite a young group.
Yeah, and I think that's probably reflected in other sort of industry associations around the world. Not that I've sort of been to a lot, but
Mm.
I've been to some in India and the UK and places like that, and it's pretty much the same, and in the Middle East too. It's I get a sense that the associations where, if you like, I was going to say older members, let's not be ageist, but members who've got a lot of experience in the industry like to mix with some of the up and coming sort of younger members and share experiences and tips and so on. And it's a really great environment.
100%. And having been involved in the SCLAA mentoring program, I led the program nationally last year. I found that every time I mentor somebody, and it's usually a new grad, I always learn something. There's always something that they're exceptionally good at that I'm not good at, and it's
Yeah,
always a two-way relationship.
yeah,
And I I'll tell you a story, Rob.
mm,
A few years ago, to be 3 years ago now, I got contacted on LinkedIn by a guy who was in supply chain, and he'd just finished his master's in India. And I do get a lot of these messages, as you'd expect, but this one stood out as being very sincere and a genuine question on what he should do. So he wanted to have a supply chain career in Australia, and he asked me what I should do. He'd seen some of my posts and my involvement in SCLAA, and I told him, well, two things: come to Australia if you're game, come to Australia, join SCLAA, and then join the mentoring program. Right? I just left it at that. And 3 months later, I got another message from him, and he's in Sydney.
I'm here.
He's joined SCLAA. He's in the mentoring program, and he got an amazing mentor who coached him through some interviewing skills. He landed his second job interview, landed a job at a salary that he couldn't believe. And within 6 months, his wife was out here, and we are very close. He lives in Sydney, but every time I'm in Sydney, we catch up and have a chat. And it just shows you, you just got to have the nerve. You got to take that risk, and think about, I guess, what's the worst thing that could happen.
Yeah.
And if the worst thing that can happen isn't that bad, it's a bit like generally in life. If it's not that bad, then you should probably do it.
That's a great story, really illustrates it well. Now, before we go any further, if you're interested in joining the SCLAA, I have no commercial interest, by the way. I happen to be a member. We'll put a link down below the video in the description, so jump on there to have a look. But also, if you're not in Australia, go and have a look, because it'll give you an idea of what a good industry association looks like, the sort of things that they do. So wherever you live in the world, jump onto Google, look for industry associations and see if you can find one that looks a bit like this, because it's pretty comprehensive. Now, we've been talking primarily about people early on in their career. What else do these associations do for others?
Well, it's for anybody in supply chain and logistics, so it's right across the board. And for someone who's senior in supply chain, it'll be about keeping across current trends, latest technology, and giving them an opportunity to talk to their peers about the industry and maybe problems they're having in their particular company, in their business. And I think that's the great thing about the connection bit. When you're talking to someone who's in the same role as you in a different company, and talking about some of the challenges that you're having, and maybe that other person has had the same challenges and may have some suggestions. So that's I think a really good reason to join and come and attend the events. And by the way, you can attend the events without being a member. I'd highly recommend you do become a member, but you can pay a premium and attend if you wanted a bit of a taster. And something that you can always do is connect with us on LinkedIn. So SCLAA is very, very active on LinkedIn. And if you're overseas or just want to get a taste of some of the events that we hold, just follow us on LinkedIn.
Oh, that's great advice. Now, I just want to reiterate again, this is not a promo for the SCLAA, although it probably sounds like it a bit, but I just wanted to talk to Stephen because I think it's an example of the sort of association that you ought to be looking out for. If you're in Australia, by all means, look it up, but elsewhere in the world, I'll put a couple of links down below of associations that I've come across in the UK and the Middle East to give you some other examples.
Yeah.
But before I let you go, Stephen, I know you've been very active in the mentoring program at SCLAA. Apart from industry associations, and I think you've touched on it a little bit, for somebody who's starting out their career in supply chain, what would be one bit of advice you would give them?
It would be the same advice I gave to that Indian chap, and that is join the association and actually go to the events. Just don't join and not go to the events. You have to go to the events, meet people, talk to people, be educated and connect, and opportunities will open up. Keep in mind, like all the leadership team are all non-paid, so we're all volunteering our time. It's SCLAA is a not-for-profit. So our hearts are in the right place. We want to help you, and we're all about the members.
Sounds wonderful. If I hadn't rejoined, I'd be joining. Stephen Lakey, thank you very much for joining us. If these sorts of associations are of interest to you, we'll put some links down below the video. But thanks again. I thought we should go to the source, someone who actually works in one of these organisations, to hear about what you do. Thanks very much, Stephen.
Thank you, Rob. A pleasure to be on your show, and I do appreciate the invitation. Thanks, Rob.
All right, well, I appreciate your time, mate. I'll let you know
Rob.
when it comes out. Hopefully we haven't embarrassed ourselves. But...
It'll be fine. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
See ya.
All right, bye.